So dear friends, thank you all for joining our October 7th Remembrance event. I'm Heidi Benisch, the Partnership Director. Before we begin the event, I would like to share 3 items with you. The security situation is extremely challenging these days, so we would like to let you know that there might be red alerts during the ceremony. Then we will have to run to the safe room and we'll be back after 10 minutes, so please stay tuned if that happens. The event was supposed to take place at Yad Lebanim in Akko with our volunteers and friends. During these security challenges, we have decided to have this ceremony with no audience. The panelists, our panel moderator, and Avital Bendro, are being hosted in the home of our partnership chair, Moti Yegir. As many of you may have heard, over this weekend, Kibbutz Shamrat in Mate Asher lost 2 of its members, 2 fine men, soldiers, Guy and Ido, and today it's Ido's funeral. Some of the panelists are attending the funeral, so they might be late or might not be able to join us. We appreciate your understanding. This is our current reality, and despite these challenging and complex days, we decided to continue with this important ceremony. I'm honored to introduce Harry Levy, our American co-chair, who will begin our ceremony with a few words.
Thanks, Heidi, and welcome everybody today to this event. You know, it's funny, we've just finished the Chagim, and it's a time when we're commanded to celebrate, to uplift and enjoy, the new Torah, the starting of the Torah over again, and dwelling in Sukkot. But it's been very difficult this year. It's been very difficult for all of us, especially those of us who are involved with what's happening in the North, to know that we're supposed to celebrate when everybody's living in fear and having to run to a shelter, and as you just heard, tragically losing people. So we have to kind of look at this a little bit differently, and I'm hopeful that everybody will see that we can have a better year going forward and that things will improve. But as we also look back on what this last year has brought and the many memories that many of us have created, but also the fact that we all are carrying many people in our memories who are no longer with us. We greet everyone and welcome everyone together, and let's all hold arms together as we have this event. Thank you very much.
כוכבים חרש חרש, את הרוח עובר על הסף, עננים מלכים על הדרך. כבר שנה לא הרגשנו כמעט איך חלפו הזמנים בשדותינו. כבר שנה את כולם, את יפי הבלורית the תיתן את ליבנו לשכוח, אהבה מקודשת בדם, אל תשובי בינינו לפרוח, אהבה מקודשת בדם, אל תשובי בינינו לפרוח.
So, as a year ago, since the greatest tragedy to befall the state of Israel and the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and regrettable, we are still in its midst. We have lost over 1,000 men, women, children, and soldiers, civilians from all sectors of the society. Meanwhile, we in the Western Galilee and throughout the north of Israel are dealing with daily missiles, evacuations, and an ongoing, incomprehensible reality. Our partnership with the Jewish community overseas, with all of you who are present here at this memorial event, serve us as a light of hope for us. The support and solidarity we experience from you is way beyond measure. As a circle that tightens to preserve itself, when someone departs, or when attempts to make it, or when attempts are made to break it, we hope that our people in Israel and the diaspora will draw closer and tighten the bonds in the wake of this rupture. I'm happy to introduce Moti Yegia, the Israeli co-chair for the ISGOR.
נזכור. May we remember our beloved brothers and sisters and the entire house of Israel, the heroic and the pure, victim of the 7th of October, who lost their lives on what should have been the joyous day of Simchat Torah. May we remember our loved ones who were brutally murdered in the kibbutzim, moshavim, on the streets in the cities, at parties, and on seashore. They sought refuge inside their homes. May we remember and not forget our loved ones who were kidnapped, tortured, and murdered in the damp tunnels. May we remember the courageous one who rushes to help and fought valiantly, the strong heart who sacrificed their lives to fight a cruel enemy on all fronts, in the south, in the north, in the lowlands, and in the mountains, and the many that fell while on guard. May we remember all the communities of the Western Negev, the Eshkol region, the southern cities, and the northern settlements, all those who guarded the border for us in our precious nation. May we remember those who whispered comfort, those who mumbled prayer, those who were physically and emotionally injured. May we remember and mourn the untimely loss and self-sacrifice of those who perish in the heavy battles. May we remember and not rest, nor be silent until we bring back our loved ones, back to their homes, to sit on their land in peace and security. May the fallen of 7th of October and the entire war be forever engraved on our hearts for generation to come. Amen.
Amen. Hello, I'm Diana Bletter, and I'd like to thank you all for joining us. It's so important that you hear the stories of these three brave men and serve as witnesses. So I'd first like to introduce Yehuda Beinin, who will speak.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who is joining with us for this event. I would also like to thank Heidi for her kind words regarding two members of our community of Kibbutz Shomrat. They were very touching. So, yes, my name is Yehuda Beinin. I am a member of Kibbutz Shomrat and the father of Liat Tzili, who, along with her husband and three children, are from Kibbutz Nir Oz. Recalling the events of October 7th, the day began at 6:30 in the morning when we realized that there was a serious security event taking place in the south. We called our daughter, who was very curt and very hushed speaking with us and said she couldn't talk. There was a lot of activity going on, and that she'd call us back. She didn't call us back. We called again at 9:30, and again she was speaking in a very hushed voice. Terrorists had already entered the kibbutz in great numbers. They were carrying out murder and rape and burning down people's houses. So our daughter was speaking in a very hushed voice. Her husband, Aviv, in the meantime, had gone out to see what's going on and to take part in the local response team. So there were a lot of things that were unknown going on. That was the last we spoke with our daughter. We tried to call again at about 10 after 11, and there was already no response from her. What we learned that happened in the interim is that Aviv, our son-in-law, my wife's husband, and the father of our 3 grandchildren, was killed defending the kibbutz on that morning, and that Liat, our daughter, had been taken hostage to Gaza. What happened after that is a very interesting story. The first thing we did was we called, as advised by the Israeli authorities, to call the police and to report a missing person, because it became clear by the end of the day that Liat and Aviv were not among the people accounted for on Nir Oz. So we called to file a missing persons report, for what it's worth. We have friends with us who suggested that we call the American Embassy, because my daughter is a dual American-Israeli citizen. So I can say proudly, as an American, that right away we had folders open. I don't know the word in English. A case was opened up also in the State Department and also in the embassy in Jerusalem regarding our daughter. And by the middle of the week, we'd already heard from the FBI and from State Department people who were gathering information about our daughter. On October 13th, that Friday, we and all of the other American hostage families already had a Zoom conversation with President Biden, who described the actions and activities that his administration were undertaking in order to secure the release of the American hostages and all the hostages, actually. In addition to that, on Sunday, I called my cousin, who is a former executive director of the Jewish Federation in Connecticut, in Eastern Connecticut, who has his political connections in Connecticut, and he right away contacted Congressman Joe Courtney, and his staff were immediately in contact with the State Department, and they were instrumental in providing the administration with details about my daughter, so that eventually her name came up in the negotiations, and she was among the people who were released in the first batch of hostages that were let go. And I have my undying thanks to the American administration for the work they did on behalf of my daughter.
Thank you very much, Yehuda, for sharing your story. I'd now like to introduce Shimon Buskila, who will talk about his son.
Shalom. Thank you for being with us. I'm Shimon Buskila, the father of Jordan Buskila, who was murdered in the Nova party at the 7th of October. I'm married to Merav, my wife. We have 3 children, and Liad, Sapir, and Jordan, which was the youngest. In 7:45 in the morning, where the missile attack was started on Israel, and we wake up. We are a member in the kibbutz Kfar Masaryk, and we wake up in the north, and we start to call our kids. We called to Sapir, and everything was okay. We called to Jordan. It was 7:45, and he was answer. It was a short telephone call. He was saying, "Mother and father, I'm busy on something very important. I cannot talk with you now. I will call you back." He didn't want us to get worried, so he didn't let us know he's in the party. Only at 9 o'clock, his girlfriend, which didn't go with him to the party because she was coming from a trip with her parents, and she let us know that Jordan is in the party. And then we start to be, we have organize ourselves to see what we can do and what we contact with him, but we couldn't contact with him at all. And Jordan, what we know, the story from survival that we met later, and we know today almost the full of the story, that Jordan was running with his friends, tried to run away from there. They met the two girls which was having in a panic, and they asked them to drive their car. So they took them with the car and they drive, and then when they start to shoot on their car, they ran away from the car. All of them was running to right side, and only Daniel, friends of Jordan, was running to the left side. Jordan was telling them, "Listen, go there. He's going to the wrong direction. I will try to bring him back." And he was running to the left side to bring his friend. From that moment, he couldn't come back to the right side, and they stayed together near the garbage container. At 9:20, he was killed. All the people that running to the right side was survived, and everybody that running to the left side was murdered. By coincidence or whatever, that's what happened. Jordan was growing in the kibbutz, and he had a lot of hobby, mainly hiking in the Israeli, in the desert especially, doing a lot of sport of diving, kite surfing, working with a wood carpenter, and mainly love the life of the family together. In the funeral of Jordan, I was saying that we are choosing in life, which is one of the hard things that I don't know how we're going to do it, but we need to do it. So today we are coming and waking up every day, every hour, and fighting to learn from crawl to walk, and to learn how to live with this big loss. When you're losing a son, you lose part of your soul. It's a big black hole which will never fill up. Today, I can tell you that we are doing a lot of things on the memory of Jordan. We're also building in the kibbutz a garden, which will be a garden of life. And what we want to do there, that kids will come and family, and not only for memory. I can tell you that this is what Jordan wants us to do. This is what we will do. We're going on his speed of his light, and always we're asking ourselves what Jordan wants us to do. I'm also a volunteer in the Berave family community, and we are trying to help a lot of people and parents which are still under the cover, and they don't go outside from home. But that's it. That's day by day, and that's what we live, and our situation also today. So thank you.
Thank you, Shimon, for your story and about Jordan, who was only 25 years old when he was murdered. Now we're going to hear from David Vachnin.
Shalom לכולם. As Diana presented me, I'm David Vachnin. I'm 49 years old, from Moshav Liman. I am father of Kfir and Sagi. And Saturday morning for us was normal Saturday morning. Wake up to prepare breakfast. Until 10 minutes to 7, I got a phone call from the military. David, gear up and come to the unit. I'm a part of a unit that if they call me, it's a big problem. something big is happening. I turned on the TV to see what's happening, and I saw the south, and I understood that that's it. It's real, not exercise. I took my kids, gave them a few things to put in a bag, took my girlfriend, told her, listen, we are in war. We went to the car, I kissed them goodbye, and with the hope to see them again when time will come. Putting on my uniform and separating that morning was very, very hard, even today when I think about it. To cut away the life of like a father, civilian, and to become again a soldier, like I was when I was 18 years old. But we are going when we are called. And since that morning of the 7th of October, I was in the army for 8 months, during which I came home only a few times to see the kids. My kids were evacuated from Liman, from Moshav Liman in the north, to the center of Israel, to Caesarea. They stayed there until 2 months ago, 3 months ago, when I finished my service. And since then, we try to find the way to get back to normality as much as is possible, running from shelter to shelter and looking around where you can find a place to go out to eat ice cream, only where there is a shelter in the area. It's hard for the kids, of course, but it's hard also for us adults. During the 8 months in service, and not only, also on the 7th of October, I lost friends in the Gaza Strip, commanders, friends, and the last of them was Guy Dan, was died on Friday morning, killed in Lebanon on Friday morning. Guy was 51 years old. He was bigger than me, and I'm 6 feet tall. I felt like near him, I felt like a small kid. And he was so big physically, but his heart was big as his physical size. So losing him was very hard hit for all of the community around, and Israel is a small place. We know everybody, and it's touching all of us. Thank you for being with us. And to you, Diana.
Thank you, David. Now I'm going to ask some questions that were sent in from you in the audience. This question was sent in both from Dayton and Fort Worth, and I'm going to address it to Shimon. What are 3 things that Jews can do to help?
3 things I think that you can help us is, one thing is with the healing space that's supporting parents, family, brother, sister. This is a place that when we can meet at least 2-3 times a week, and it's called Adama Tova. And there is a lot of volunteer people who are trying to help us, that we can meet each other, speak, even painting, playing music or whatever, and telling story and whatever need. So I think it's very important. I can tell you that for me and for Merav, it was one of the things that really support us in the beginning, and it helps to do the sentences I'm choosing in life. The second one is the foundation that we're having in private, which is for Jordan. We call it To Live in Your Way, Jordi. And this is a garden we are planning to build in our kibbutz, which will be for family and kids. I think most of the detail I pass to Avital, and she will let you know all this information later. I don't want to bother you so much with details. And the third point, which I think is keep being ambassador of truth and supporting us and telling the right story that was happened on the 7th of October. You are doing it great and with great support, and we are thank you for this.
Thank you very much, Shimon. The next question comes from Northwest Indiana. Is there anything that makes you feel hopeful? Yehuda?
I think that from the stories that we've told, maybe it's possible to discern a little bit deeper into the true nature of our lives here in the Western Galilee and in the Mata Asher Regional Council. And if you look at the way Israel celebrates the Memorial Day, the day before Independence Day, which is a little crazy if you think about it, but we here in Israel have learned that in spite of the tremendous burden of death and sacrifice that our children are called upon to make, that we remain hopeful and we always look forward, and that actually Israeli society as a whole is a happy society. And I think this stems from the fact that we're always looking to the future. And when you think about future, so I think we naturally gravitate to children because they represent the future. And I would like to see a more established interaction between the kids in Mata Asher and the children in the communities that we're in contact with here. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't plug the baseball program that we have in Mata Asher. Something to think about. Endless possibilities here. But again, the creating the bonds, real bonds between kids and people is something that I always hope for, without taking away from anything that anybody else has said, because it's all important, really.
Finally, the last question was from Northwest Indiana. What is the impact on children's education and on their well-being? And David, you can address that, please.
Yes, Diana. Well, I can take two examples from my house, and I believe it reflects on all of the society in the north and maybe on most of Israel. Sagi is 18 years old, and she went to Mechina. It's a year of preparation for the army. As for her brother Kfir, which is 10 years old, it was hard to have to live with the absence of a father at home and not knowing where he is, and to live with it, to learn to live with it. And about the education, of course, they don't go to school. They don't have school because it's not safe to go. And they try to make the learning from the Zoom, but it's difficult. It's difficult for kids to sit and concentrate while you hear alarms and explosions in the air. But they manage to find some routine to have 2 or 3 hours Zoom with other kids of the class and share thoughts and talk about the things. I want to share with you something else that I was talking about help, not related to exactly the question. During the 8 months in service, my unit, we received a bag of gifts from communities in the United States. I received a gift from a bag from a kid from a kindergarten in Texas, wishing us all the good to keep ourselves and watch ourselves, and with the flag of Israel. I still have that letter in my battle vest at home. So thank you also for this.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Yehuda and Shimon and David. And thanks to all of you in the audience who are here with us right now. And now I turn it back to Heidi.
Thank you, all of you. We have no words to describe how we are feeling, what a big pain we all are in for you and for your families. And we send you all our sympathy and best will and prayer for much better days. We will now share a video with you, which was made by the Community Center of Mate Asher, with the dancers and the musicians of the Community Center, in the light of what we're going through. But I also, as you can see, we continue to be strong, and the culture here is still flourishing somehow. And that is also because we have Golan as our community director. So please share the video.
בסוף שזה נגמר, יש סיבה לכל דבר. לבד בתוך כל הטירוף, אני חושב איך שהזמן יכול לעוף, אבל בסוף כשזה נגמר, יש סיבה לכל דבר.
it's very difficult for me to call on Tamara. I just want again thank you, Golan, for you and your team to put this beautiful, beautiful video together for all of us. I know as much as the communities that are enlightened to us, so are we to them. And I can't wait personally that we all get together, hopefully sooner and better in the near future. Tamara, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Heidi. I feel the same way. I don't have my personal words, so I'm glad I have these written words to say. We wish to express our gratitude to today's speakers, Yehuda, Shimon, and David, for sharing with us a glimpse of your experiences. We seek to give you comfort and strength from all corners of the world. We thank our participants today, both overseas and in Israel, who've come together with us on this day, even in these incredibly challenging times. We would like to thank Moti Yeager, the Israeli co-chair of the partnership, for hosting this event in his home, as well as our dear chairs and all those involved in the planning and execution of this event. The Yad Lebanim in Akko and the Community Center of Mate Asher and their talented dancers and musicians for creating that absolutely beautiful clip we just saw, full of hope for the future and better days. And the ad hoc committee, LaDonna Fishkin, Golan Rosenberg, Avital Ben-Dror, Jeff Bloomer, Amy Fouts, Miriam Marcus, and our moderator, Diana Blatter. We would like to share a poem by Gali Ravitz called Horizon. This is a period in which it is hard to speak of horizon. It seems that there is not anything on the horizon. And yet, when I close my eyes at night, before I sleep, I remember my dreams and the places I wanted to be in, my children, my loves, and I become weightless like a seagull soaring very high, drawing me a line and fly in its direction. Please rise for our national anthem, Hatikva.
We want to thank you all for participating. We have come to the end of the ceremony, and we'll meet you next time. Shalom.
Thank you. Peace.
Thank you and peace.
Bye, everyone. Thinking of you. Love you.
Shalom.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Toda rabah.